Before we get started, just a couple of words about me. I'm going to keep this very short. So my name is Daniel Sinek, and I am a managing partner at tradingindicators.com. And as Bobby said, my CV is perhaps a bit different from the typical trading educator you listen to in these webinars. I'm a software engineer by training, and many years ago, I went through all the ropes in software engineering at the university. I went through all the levels with the objective of becoming a professor in software engineering, and I even taught many different courses at the university in computer science and software engineering and so forth. But out of self-interest, I was always fascinated by trading. And when I started out many years ago, I made all the mistakes that everybody else does, or most people do when they start out. They overtrade, take too many risks, revenge trade when the odds are actually not very favorable, and so forth. And of course, I donated my fair share to the market as a result of all this. And I took a hard look in the mirror and realized, when trading is hard and I need help. And for me, needing help meant I need better trading tools that will help me make better trading decisions. And this is really how the story behind tradingindicators.com started. Most of the tools that are now available on our online store, which is at tradingindicators.com, they were written in the first place to help me or my colleagues with their trading. And then we thought, okay, if they're useful to us, perhaps they're also useful to others. And we put them out there, and now they're available for many different trading platforms, of course, including MetaStock. Now, over the years, we've been out there for quite some time. Over the years, I have personally written over 500 trading indicators for myself, for our store, but also for partners. Many of the trading educators that you listen to, like Jeff Tompkins, Stephen Bigelow, and so forth, they have used my services for the indicators. So I've written so many of them. I really can say I've seen almost everything. So we've written all these indicators and strategies and scanners and so forth, and they're now used by investors and traders and clients all over the world. And I believe they help them to become better traders and to make better trading decisions. Now, our team at Trading Indicators, it's not just me. We do have a large team, a versatile team, which help me create trading indicators, but we also create other trading solutions, such as fully fledged trading dashboards, smart apps, fully automated trading strategies, scanners, and so forth. And we do have traders on board. We have mathematicians, we have UX designers, so we're really a well-rounded, versatile team at Trading Indicators. Now, enough about me and us. I actually don't really want to talk about me too much. I want to talk about you today, you the trader. I'm going to start off by asking a very simple question. Are you, and if you do, please raise your hand, are you currently struggling to find the best trading signals? Admitting there are so many different indicators out there, literally hundreds of thousands, all of them give different signals. So which one should be followed? Are you struggling with that? So if you do, raise your hand. I'm just going to quickly see if somebody is raising the hand. This is a feature in the webinar software. So far, no one, perhaps. Okay, maybe it's not. Oh, there's one. Yeah, at least one person raised the hand. 2, 3. Okay, there's a couple of people who are actually struggling with this. And you know what? In this presentation, I will focus exactly on this particular questions. And I'm going to give you very concrete hands-on advice as to how to find trading signals which have the best odds of succeeding in a successful trades. And it's not just by intuition, it's by hard facts. All right. So, but before I do this, if you were attending my webinar here at the MetaStock multi-speaker event, you may have noticed that I put out a trade, or my trade of the day, on August 1st. That is when the event took place, and I recommended going long the Carrier Global Corporation stock in the S&P 500 with an entry at the time at 40.15. Target at 43.78 and stop loss at 35.08. And this was a trade that I have identified using the procedure, the method, which I will teach you today. And it is super easy to follow. And as you will see, everybody can do it. Now, this trade turned out to be an amazing trade. So we had our entry down here. And if I zoom in a little bit, you can see, there we go, that this is when I posted this trade on August 1st. And since then, this trade did what it was supposed to do, to go up. It hit both profit targets. It did not get stopped out. And today, actually, the final profit target of 43.78 was hit, which is amazing. Now, what you can also see here is one of our indicators on the chart, but also in the expert commentary down here. And you can see that this the indicator actually told me exactly what to do, when to enter, where were my 2 targets, and where is my stop loss. In addition to this, it also has what we call instant efficiency statistics. And what this is all about, I will explain to you in just a bit. Now, so in this presentation, I will show you how I picked this trade and why I picked this trade. And this also answers the questions, why did I pick this trade? Because I had many, many different options, but I picked this one, and I picked this one for a reason. And why I picked this one will be answered in just a bit. So if you're excited, please stay tuned, and I'm going to get started with this presentation. Now, we have created at tradingindicators.com what we call the Power Bundle 360. It's a bundle of 3 indicators, and in fact, a bundle of 3 complementary indicators. They all serve a particular purpose, and they are designed to work in any market conditions, even the most volatile ones, the market condition that we have right now, where things are really unpredictable. And the indicators excel in one particular thing. It could be trend following, or it is trend following for one of them. It is finding reversals for the second one. And we also have an indicator for trading breakouts. And all of these indicators are designed in a way so that they will give you feedback on the chart, right where you see them, as to how well the indicator is working. And this is really important information for anyone, because everybody can just put an indicator on the chart, but perhaps the indicator is not tuned in correctly. Perhaps it has the wrong parameters, or perhaps it's just not the right symbol for this indicator. So normally you wouldn't know this, or maybe you have to do an in-depth analysis manually. But our indicators, they will tell you right on the chart how well they are working. And you can use this information to make an informed trading decision. Now, these 3 indicators are, the first one is called 1, 2, 3 strike, which we call our trend expert. It's designed for trend trading, and it is designed to identify strong confirmed trend entries. And it does this by looking at 3 dimensions. We have directionality, so price needs to move in a certain direction. We're looking at a spike in volume and spike in volatility. If everything comes together, an entry signal is given. Okay, so this is indicator number 1. Indicator number 2 is what we call divergence cloud. And if you know what divergence is, you may already guess what this indicator does. It is designed to predict reversals and pullbacks by using divergence. Not just any divergence, a very innovative form of divergence, which we call volatility divergence. We have designed this approach in our lab. It doesn't exist anywhere else, and we're contrasting price action to volatility. If discrepancies occur, because that's what the divergence is, an entry signal is generated. And as it turns out, it is a very strong telltale sign that a trend reversal or a change of price direction may be imminent. All right, so that's indicator number 2. And indicator number 3 is what we call volatility crusher, an indicator designed to trade breakouts. And when such a breakout happens, the hope is that price will continue in the direction of the breakout for quite some time, and you as a trader can take advantage of that. All right, so to sum up, and then we're going to look at charts, we have 3 indicators. The first one is 1, 2, 3 strike, which is our trend expert. The second one is divergence cloud, which is our pullback finder, designed to detect reversals or pullbacks. And we have volatility crusher, our breakout trader, to find lasting breakouts where price will continue in the direction of the breakout. All right, so enough theory. Let's have a look at some charts. I'm going to switch over to my MetaStock. And while I am doing this, as a reminder, if you have questions, please don't be shy. Put them into the questions box. I'm going to keep an eye on it. And if you have questions, please write them, and I will answer them as I go ahead with my presentation. Okay, so Here we have MetaStock, and the first chart I'm going to show you is AMD. Everybody knows AMD as a big processor of chips, computer chips. And this is a daily chart, and we have applied our 1, 2, 3 strike indicator to this chart. And the first thing you probably can see is that some candles are colored green and other ones are colored reddish. And this is the first thing this indicator does. It basically shows you, by means of this candle coloring, whether price is in an uptrend, that's greenish, or price is in a downtrend when it is bearish. All right, so that's the first thing this indicator does. The second thing this indicator does, it will give you clear entry signals. And you can see these signals here with these bigger arrows. They're either greenish for long entries or reddish for short entries. Okay, so you have these entries here, and these entries will only happen for longs if price is in an uptrend, meaning the candles are green, or price is in a downtrend, meaning the candles are red. Okay, now entering into a trade is important. We all know this, but guess what? Managing the trade once you're in it is just as important. And we are aware of this. This is why our 1, 2, 3 strike indicator is also equipped with partial profit booking suggestions. Basically, when you should take some risk off the table, book some partial profits, and then let the indicator or let price action play out and continue. And you can see these partial exits with these little reddish arrows in the opposite direction of the main entry. Yeah. So for example, here you book some partial profits, then up here again, and eventually the position is closed when we have a signal in the opposite direction. The number of partial exits can be configured in the parameters of the indicator, and by default it is set to 4. So basically, for every entry, we want to book 1, 2, 3, 4 times partial profits. At the last partial profit, the position is closed out. And the same applies for our short entries too. Here we had a short entry, and we had a couple of partial exits along the way up until the point where the position would be closed out. Now, so this is AMD, and what is really cool with MetaStock in general, but also it works really well with our indicators, is that MetaStock has these really great expert commentary function, which will give you additional information of what is going on the chart. So in order to open this up, all you need to do is to do a right click on the chart, go to Expert Advisor, and go to Commentary. So I'm doing like just like that, and this is going to open up a little text box below the chart, which is the commentary here, with important information of what is going on. For example, here we can see, let me just click to the end of this chart. So we have the most recent commentary. Once this updates, we can see for today is August 11th, we can see the following. The first thing we can see is that we have a long efficiency of 83.33% and a short efficiency of 62.96%. Now you may ask the question, what is that? What is that weird statistic that we have there? Well, in fact, it is not weird at all. This is one of the things which makes this indicator so powerful. Basically, you can think of this percentage number here as the success rate of how well the long entry signals or the short entry signals have worked out in the past. It's basically a built-in back test of the signals. And for you as a trader, this gives you really crucial information of how well this indicator is working for the symbol. Because not every indicator works equally well for every symbol and time frame. But at least now, with these statistics, you know how well it is working with hard facts. And we can see here that for our long entry signals, for all the historical data on the chart, 83% of these long signals were successful, and for the short signals, 62% of the signals were successful. And of course, if I were to update the symbol or the time frame, these statistics would update as well. Okay, all right. So this is basically the key information about this indicator, because it will tell you, it will give you feedback how well it is working, and the other commentary relates to what is currently going on the chart. And we're not going to go through this right now. All right, so this is indicator number 1. But let me move on now to indicator number 2. I'm just going to quickly look at some questions. I'm going to address these a bit later. So indicator number 2 is called divergence cloud. And for this, I'm going to open up a completely different chart. This was a daily chart. We're going to switch it off a little bit. I'm going to open up Tesla now on a 5-minute chart. So quite different. And if I can find Tesla, there it is. I'm going to open it up. And while MetaStock is loading this chart, I was going to hide real quick the expert commentary below. We're going to revisit this a bit later. Okay, so here we have the 5-minute chart of Tesla. And again, similarly to 1, 2, 3 strike, you again see some bar coloring on the chart, but also below the chart in this kind of ribbon here. And this is what we call the divergence cloud. Unlike 1, 2, 3 strike, it will not indicate directionality of price, whether that's going up or down, but instead it will tell you whether we currently have a divergence, a bullish divergence if it's green, or a reddish divergence if it's red. And as mentioned before, divergence can be a very strong telltale sign that a price reversal is imminent. Okay, so how does this work? So if such a divergence is found, the indicator generates, similar to 1, 2, 3 strike, an entry signal either to the long direction, we have one here, or to the short direction, as we can see here. And similarly to 1, 2, 3 strike, we also have partial exits along the way. And the number of partial exits, of course, can be configured in the parameters for this indicator. Now, if you just look through the signals here, and this is a 5-minute chart, so it's really, really fast, you can see that, well, it worked out quite well along the way with long entries here with a nice follow through. Here we had a short entry and price moved into the short direction. Here another short entry, here long entry, and so forth. So as you can see, it seems to be working out quite nicely. Now, of course, this can be just an intuition, but luckily, similarly to 1, 2, 3 strike, we also have our statistics. And all you need to do, one more time, is to go to the commentary option on the expert advisor, and it will tell you how well the signals have been working out. In this case, for Tesla on the 5-minute chart. And we can see here that for the 5-minute chart, we had a long efficiency of 90% and a short efficiency almost the same, also at 90%. So we had 90.91% for the long side. So, but both are really, really high. And you can see that this indicator, wow, works really, really well for Tesla. And again, for you as a trader, this is very important information as to how well the indicator is working. Because I'm telling you, not always you will find statistics like this. Sometimes it will give you a number which is perhaps 35% or, I don't know, 25%. Doesn't happen very often, but it may happen. And for you as a trader, if this happens, there's only one conclusion for you to be made. Do not use this indicator for this chart. And oftentimes, not to trade is the best trading advice that you can get. And with these statistics, now you at least know what is working and what is not working. And of course, as a trader, you will focus on what is working. Okay. And we can, for example, also see here that we currently have a short entry for Tesla and a decent follow through since then. We're still in this trade, in this short trade, which happened, which opened up around noon today. And price has been moving downwards since. So this is would have been a very nice trade for Tesla, and it would have been a very well-informed trading decision, because we know that my short efficiency for this symbol on this time frame is at 90%. So signals tend to be very precise for Tesla on this time frame. Okay, now moving on. Our third indicator is called volatility crusher, and for this, I'm going to change it up one more time. I'm just going to quickly hide the expert commentary. I'm going to open up a completely different price chart, which is a Forex pair, in this case, Euro-Yen. I'm going to open this up. I'm just doing this to show you how versatile the indicators are. They really work on every time frame, on every asset class. So Forex, futures, stocks, ETFs, indices, you can use these indicators on. Now, this indicator works a bit differently from the other two. There is no bar coloring in this case. Instead, we do have our long and short entry signals. For example, here, nice long entry signals, and here, perhaps a short entry signals. Yeah. And if I just scroll a little bit, you can see that we do have for every entry signals 2 profit targets, and they are built into the entry signals. So as soon as you enter, you know where these profit targets are. Yeah, so here for a long entry, we hit our 2 targets along the way here. And for a short entry, for example, we hit target 1 and target 2 along the way here. Of course, sometimes the trade is not working out. So here we had a short entry, which eventually did get stopped out. And for this, this indicator has a built-in stop loss level as well. And when I look at this chart, we can see here, for example, that we do also here currently have an open long trade. And let me just maybe zoom in a little bit on this particular trade. Let's go here and open up the expert commentary. And as you will see is that the expert commentary will tell you exactly where are the stop levels, where's the stop level, and where are my 2 profit target levels. So while MetaStock is opening this up, let me quickly see if there are questions. Not yet. Okay, I'm going to continue with my presentation. And again,
hey,
here we
Daniel?
have Yes.
Hey, I have a couple of questions for you coming from YouTube, if that's okay.
Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, so we actually have William here. He's asking if you optimized the systems for this presentation, and if not, when they were last optimized.
Actually, these are the default settings of the indicators. Nothing has been changed. I could have optimized or changed the parameters, but for this presentation, I decided to just go with the default parameters, which tend to be working quite well right off the box.
Wonderful. And then he also wanted to know, let's see here, how far back the system goes to generate the long and short efficiency rates.
Yeah, it takes into account all the bars on the chart. The MetaStock, you can control how many bars you want to load in the Power Console. If I go here, where did it open? Let me just go here. There's a setting here, how many bars you want to load. In this case, I loaded 1,250 bars, but you can change it. So it will take into account all the bars on the chart.
Perfect. And then just to follow up on that a little bit more, he wants to know if you have a recommended time frame to use, and also he wants to know if you have a recommendation on how much data you should load to have a solid efficiency rate.
Yeah, so I like my setting of 1,250. It's I think it's at the sweet spot where you don't take into account too many bars, because market conditions will change over time, and things that happened or worked well 2 years ago may not be relevant right now anymore. So I do not like to load too many bars. 1,250 bars, I think, which more or less result maybe 30, 40 trades. That's reasonable to give you meaningful statistics. So that's, to me, that's my sweet spot to follow. And in terms of which time frame, this really depends on what kind of trader you are. So if you're more comfortable with day trading, you want to close down your positions at the end of the day, you don't have any overnight risk, for example, then you, of course, use a shorter time frame. If you're more an investor style, you would use a longer time frame. It's up to you. Our indicators will work equally well on each of these time frames.
Okay, perfect. He says, thank you. Great answers.
Great. All right. Okay, so now, moving on. Again, we have our statistics. Here we can see the long efficiency at 81% and the short efficiency of 72%. And what I also would like to point out here is that we are currently long, or we have a long entry signal here. The trade is still open. And we can see that the expert commentary will tell you exactly that. So the position is currently long. Our entry was at 137.28. Our first target at 137.53, and at 137.78 is our second target on this 15-minute chart, and the stop loss at 136. Now, this stop loss is actually a trailing stop. So as the trade progresses in the direction of the desired trend direction or trade direction, this stop loss will be tightened to lock in profits. Okay, so these are the 3 indicators. So let me quickly switch back to the slides, because yeah, there's something really exciting to come up next. So I'm quickly going back to my slides. And just to quickly sum up and talk a little bit about the numbers that you've seen here and the statistics, I believe these statistics will allow you to make truly informed trading decisions. Instead of relying on your intuition and perhaps what you see on the small little chart that you're looking at, look at these hard numbers. They not only take into account what you currently can see on the chart, but they go much further back. As I said, by default, 1,250 bars, which you typically cannot put on one chart view at the same time. And with these statistics, you can now trade when the odds are stacked in your favor. The higher the statistics, the better it is. For some symbols, we have efficiency ratings of almost 100%. So they're really tuned in for these symbols. you can change the parameters of each of our indicators. I didn't have time to go through all these parameters, but you can change them to find a better settings. And these statistics will allow you to, will tell you whether you're changing the parameters in the right direction. Yeah. So if that change actually was beneficial or not, because these ratings will go up or down, and they will give you instant feedback as to how well the parameter change was working. And sometimes you may notice that for some signals, for some symbols, the long signals work out better than the short ones. And this is typically the case when there's a big long-short bias in the symbol. Stocks, for example, tend to go up over time. And if you're on a long time frame, and it's very normal that you have a higher efficiency rating on the long side. Again, for you as a trader, this is important to know, because why wouldn't you trade in the direction where the stock is more likely to go? If there's a bias to the long side, well, perhaps you should trade long only with that particular symbol. So again, these statistics will give you hard facts as to whether there is such a bias or not. Okay, so moving on, just as a summary, each of the indicators, they give you clear entry signals, but also clear exit signals, because managing your trade is just as important as entering into the trade. We try to keep the visuals to the minimal visuals that are required to keep your chart clean and not cluttered, so that you can focus on your trading. The indicators will run anywhere. So any time frame, any asset class. So whether you're a day trader, a swing trader, a scalper, an investor, you can use these indicators. We're not here to tell you how to trade or what your trading style should be. This is up to you, but you can use these indicators to support your trading style. And each indicator has the built-in statistics, which will allow you to make truly informed trading decisions. Now, okay, so two very important questions now come up, and I'm gonna, of course, look at your user questions as well in just a bit. Now, you may ask yourself the question, well, I could apply all these indicators to thousands of different stock symbols on different time frames. How do I know, however, which of the symbols on which time frames currently have signals? Well, that might be a valid question. How do we find the stocks that currently have an entry signal? But perhaps more importantly, let's assume we know which stocks have signals right now. Since we cannot trade all the signals that we find, you probably can find hundreds of signals, because MetaStock can quickly scan through tens of thousands of symbols very fast. So you may get a lot of signals. Now the question is, among all these signals, which signals are the most probable ones to result in a successful trade? I think it's a really important question, and it's a fundamental question in trading. So, well, let me try to answer this question for you. So back to MetaStock, and let's have a look at the scanner, which is built into MetaStock. And if someone asks me, hey, Daniel, what do you like most about MetaStock? My answer, hands down, is the scanner. It is so powerful. It allows you to quickly scan literally through thousands of symbols for entry signals. Amazing. It's such a great time saver. It's a great feature in MetaStock. So all you need to do is to click on the Explore tab here, which is the scanner. So I'm going to click on it. And you will now see many different predefined scans, which are built into MetaStock or built into some of the add-ons that you can get for MetaStock. And the same holds true for our Power Bundle indicator. So we also have predefined scans. If you scroll down here to Power Bundle, and they're all grouped under Power Bundle 360, we can see we have scans for 1 to 3 strike, for divergence cloud, and also for volatility crusher. Now, in order to run the scan, you basically select this scan. You select the instruments or the list of instruments that you would like to scan through. In this case, I chose, I think, the Dow 30, some S&P 500 or 600 stocks, and so forth. Okay, and all you need to do then is to change or to select the time frame, in this case daily, let's say, and you click Start Exploration, which basically means start the scan. So I've done this before this presentation. I'm not going to wait until this finishes. Instead, I'm going to just open up those scan results, which I have seen. So they opened up in a new window. What we can see here are all the symbols with signals for our 1, 2, 3 strike indicator. Okay. Now we can see here, for example, if I sort this, is that we have, how many are these? Maybe 10, 12 symbols of long entries. So they have this little 1 here for a long signal. You see these ones here, and perhaps 10 symbols with short signals. All right, so we have, how many do we have? 20 different symbols for 1 to 3 strike alone for today on the daily time frame, and only scanned through 700 something stocks. MetaStock, you can scan through thousands of stocks. Only ran this scan on 700 something. So, but you can already see, even for these ones, we have more than 20 signals which we could all follow. But we can't trade all of them because we probably don't have enough funds to do this. So the question now is, how do I know which of these signals are the best ones? Which ones should I follow? So typically you wouldn't know, and you would have to open up the chart for each of these symbols to look at the chart, just try to make some sense out of it. What is the symbol doing? Is this a good trade or not? It's very tedious, it's very manual, and trading is, it's time sensitive, so you probably don't have time to do this. This is why we have built something into the scan which will allow you to rank your signals by quality, how well they have been working in the past. And this is the ranking here. So it says long IET and short IET. And basically, these are the success rates at the percentages that you've seen in the expert commentary. And for every signal, you see what were the success rates to the long side and the short side. What I like to do then is to simply sort by success rate. So I did this here, and I can see for the first long signal, this was a short signal here, this is short, but this is my first long signal here. CSX Corporation has had the best rating at 76.92%. That was the success rate on the long side, followed by Consol Energy at 73.68%, followed by B&G Foods, and so forth. You get the point. And of course, you can do the same thing also for the short efficiency rating, simply by sort the ranking accordingly. Okay, so here we had Eurasia Tag at an efficiency at an 81% to the short side, for example. So you can see how powerful this is, because this way you can rank your signals, basically allowing you to pick the signals which, historically speaking, have been working out the best. So let's have a look perhaps quickly at CSX Corporation. So this is our first long signal with the highest rating. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go to Open Chart. Okay, it's going to open up the chart for this symbol. Oh, I think it's hidden behind my, where did it go? It's the second, there we go. Okay, here we have CSX Corporation. And let me quickly apply our indicator 1, 2, 3 strike to it. I'm going to do this real quick. Power bundle 1, 2, 3 strike. Here's our indicator. I'm going to open it up. And we can see that this symbol, this is the 50-minute time frame. So I have to change to the daily time frame here. So this symbol on the daily time frame currently will have a long entry signal. Oops, just a second. And while this is opening up, let me quickly look through some questions. Okay, looking at today, what is the signal now? Yeah, we're gonna, actually, this is what we just did. We scanned for today's signals. So I'm gonna just shrink this a little bit. 1 second. All right, and we can see that we do have, we do currently have an entry signal, which was generated at the end of yesterday, which was a long entry here. And for this stock, let me just quickly look at it. Well, it tells me my success rate to the long side is 76%, just like the scan told us. But yeah, and this basically will allow you to focus on the stocks with the most promising signals. Whether I would have traded this signal, I'm not sure, because I'm right near this support and resistance zone up here. Perhaps I would wait a bit. It also seems very condensed. So maybe this stock would not be the best, but at least just from a fundamental point of view and from a technical point of view, we do have a strong zone of resistance. Just see where price bounced off quite a few times. So of course, this is something you would need to take into account too. So perhaps this symbol I may not have traded, but at least now you can focus on the ones which currently have promising signals. You do a quick analysis of the chart, and yeah, then you decide where I follow this signal or I do not follow this signal. Now, let's look at another scan result. Perhaps, let me just move this away. 1 second, there we go. Okay, so the second one was, the second best was Consol Energy. So let's click on this one with a success rate of 73%. I'm going to open up the chart here as well. It's going to open up Consol in just a second. right? And again, we're on the 15, so I switch this quickly over to the daily time frame. Sorry for that. All right, now let me quickly apply the indicator again. And of course, you can save your time by creating a template of our indicators, which is very straightforward in MetaStock. So let me just quickly pick 1, 2, 3 strike one more time. There we go. I apply it to the chart, and while this is loading, let's have a quick look at some of the questions. Brian wants to know, I trade Forex, thoughts please. Yes, Forex works great with our indicators. We have many clients which use our indicators on MT4, MT5. As you know, MT4, MetaTrader 4, is traditionally a Forex platform. And yeah, it does work on Forex as well. Okay, so here we can see for Console Energy, I actually like this picture much better. Success rate to the long side of 73%. And this being an energy stock, we're at an all-time high currently. We had a long signal at the end of yesterday. Today, a nice follow-through. And if you're wondering why yesterday, it's because I ran the scan in preparation for this presentation yesterday already. So you have the signal here. And if you ask me, this could be a very interesting setup. Again, we had an all-time high, and this has been a strong uptrend for a long time. And this being our trend indicator, which is honed, which is optimized for trend entries, I believe this could be a very promising trade to be considered, especially with a rating to the long side of 73.68%. So something I will definitely keep on my radar to be traded potentially. Okay, so now let me quickly go back one more time to the Power Console. And here we're going to run one more scan. In this case, we're going to run the scan for Divergence Cloud. And that's the reason why I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here. I run this scan. I'm going to open up the report. And it will give me all the results for Divergence Cloud. Now, here we can see that we had, if I sort by long signals, we had roughly 11 symbols of a long entry and 1 symbol of a short entry. And again, we have our statistics here. So again, if you're considering going long, because you might be a stock investor, you can simply sort by the long efficiency. You focus on the stocks with the highest ratings. Now, for example, here, Independent Realty has a nice entry at 84%. Nike has 77%. It's a long signal. And Matador Resources at 73%. So let's quickly check out these charts as well. So the first one is Independent Realty. So let me switch over to that one. Just a second. So I actually prepared this chart before. Quickly opening it up. So Independence Realty is here. Opening up the chart. And you can see, as soon as this loads, that indeed this stock does have, let me just move this over here. It does have an entry on the second to last bar. Again, the scan was ran at the end of yesterday. And yeah, it's an interesting stock. Again, perhaps not a stock for me to trade for the reason that we're really near this resistance zone. So this was support at some point when price fell down, and now it's become resistance to the upside. We're right there. So if this happens, you always want to be careful. Again, here was the same zone. It is likely that price might bounce here. You would want to wait until price perhaps breaks through it and then enter into the long trade. So, but again, great long efficiency ratings. Let me quickly open up Nike. All right, so where was Nike? That was our second best candidate. All right, so Nike, once this opens up, you will see that Nike has been struggling since the last year almost. So we've been in a downtrend since then. And, you know, Divergence Cloud is our reversal finder. And it's really good to find reversals. But nonetheless, reversals are something very, very hard to pick because typically the trend is your friend. And if you want to go against the trend, well, I think really lots of things need to come together. The way I like to use the Divergence Cloud for is to trade pullbacks. So you're still in the overall trend. And we have a pullback, let's say within a long trend, and then you follow that signal for the continuation of the overall trend. I think that's a great way of trading the divergence cloud. Going completely against an overall trend like here perhaps would not be my cup of tea. So maybe the signal is also not for me, but let's have a look at our last one, which was Matador. So I'm opening up Matador here. And this is actually a trade I really liked when I saw it yesterday. So I saw the signal. And what I liked about this one is that this stock has been recovering since the beginning of the summer to the upside. It's an energy stock. So just like energy has been going up for a while, it's an energy stock and it has some room for development. So I think the closest area of resistance is somewhere up here at this latest swing high. It's still, or at least yesterday was still quite far away at around $69. Stop loss could be quite tight at the low of the swing low here. And there are no areas of resistance in between. So this stock has some room to move. And of course, if you want to place a trade, you always want to make sure that there is some room. And I do like it for the fact that we do have a great long efficiency rating. Let me just go here back to the latest bar. There's no zones of resistance above that is very near. I do like this trade. And if I were to take this trade, in fact, this is my trade of the day, I would put my target somewhere around this area of resistance at the latest swing high at around 66, and my stop loss just below here at around 50.71. And I identified this trade idea using the MetaStock scanner and the statistics which come along with our indicators. And both in combinations allowed me to find this entry. And it didn't take me very long. All I did is I focused on the most promising entry sequence of the highest statistics. I quickly looked at the chart to see if I liked the chart. And if I did, then I picked that trade. In fact, this is my trade of the day. For today, it's Matador. It's an energy company. It's part of the mid-cap 400 with an entry at 58.97, the target at 66.79, and the stop loss at 50.71, as we discussed. And I found this trade simply by using the MetaStock scanner along with the efficiency statistics for long and short entries. Okay. Now, let me quickly see if there are any questions. And Bobby, if you have any questions on your end, please let me know. Okay, Kenneth wants to know, can you comment on how you measure volatility for breakouts? Yeah, that's a great question. So, and I'm going to answer this question without going back to MetaStock. So for us, or to me, volatility is more or less the size or the average size of the bars. The bigger the bars, the bigger the candles, the more volatile is the market. And this is our base measure for volatility. Of course, it's not as simple. We're using a notion of what we call relative volatility, where we calculate the mean of volatility first, and then based on this, we calculate the standard deviation of that mean to generate what we call volatility bands. And if the current volatility breaks above the upper band, it means we have relatively high volatility, abnormally high volatility. And if this is combined with a breakout in price, it gives a very strong signal where it is very likely that that price will continue in the direction of the breakout. All right. Hope that makes sense. Kenneth? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have another question from William. He wants to know, based on your experience, which system gives the most solid signals?
They all work well. And honestly, I don't even care which one is the best because I only look at the statistics. For me, it's that simple. Sometimes, on some days, I find stocks with amazing statistics for signals on 1 to 3 strike. And the other day, it's on volatility crusher. And I strictly follow by this. I look at the ones with the best statistics. Then I open up the chart for the ones which have the best statistics, the top 3. And if I like the chart, if I think the trade has room to go, which is always a key criteria for me, if it's near resistance zone, I probably would not do it if I want to go long. Then I just pick it. And I know where my targets are. They are typically at the nearest area of resistance as the target for long trades, or at the latest swing low for my stop loss, and perhaps a bit below. And that's basically how I pick my trades. It's okay. Very simple. Yeah.
Great. And then We also have a question from Mark. He wants to know if there's a way to run an optimization on the settings for these indicators in MetaStock, or does it have to be done manually? He says, say I want to figure out some good settings for a basket of tech stocks.
Great question. So actually, I can use this slide here, my next slide, to answer this question. Let me just show all the points. So our indicators, our 3 indicators, they are really built and optimized for MetaStock. I was not able to show you everything. I was able to show you how they look on the chart, where the entry and exit signals are. You saw the expert commentary of the statistics. You saw how you can run scans. But I was not able to show you, because there's no time, is how to run system tests and optimizations for these indicators. And these system tests are basically back tests. See how, if you were to trade every signal, how well would it fared? And optimizations are a means to find the best parameters, the optimal parameters for a given chart and time frame. These indicators come with predefined system tests and optimizations. They're already built for you. All you need to do is to basically run it to find what are the optimal parameters for a given chart or time frame. So yes, it is absolutely possible to do that with MetaStock. And it's all predefined. I just didn't have time to go through it. But on this topic, Bobby, and I was about to mention this in a second, is if you decide to go with our Power Bundle 360 and all the cool features, we are having a bootcamp session on Tuesday next week at 2 p.m. It's a 2-hour session led by me, where I'm going to walk you through every single detail of how these indicators work, what are the parameters, how to change the parameters, how to find the best ones for you, how to run system tests and optimizations, and so forth. So you're going to get the full treatment next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Of course, it is also recorded in case you cannot make it.
Wonderful, thanks.
Any other questions?
That looks like everything on the YouTube side.
Perfect. Okay, so then we have prepared a special offer for you as a thank you for attending this webinar. And we have put together a bundle offer for you, which includes a 1-to-3 strike indicator, typically retailing at $397 if you were to get it individually. We have Divergence Cloud with a retail price at $449 to find reversals and pullbacks. And we have Volatility Crusher, retailing at $397, which is our breakout trader. In addition to this, you will get access to our live bootcamp. Either you attend live or you can watch the recording, which will take place next week, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be at least a 2-hour session, perhaps even more, because I'm going to be as detailed as I possibly can to explain everything about the indicators to you. How all the parameters work, how to find the best symbols to trade, how to run optimization, and so forth, with tips and tricks on how to get the most out of MetaStock and the indicators to you to support your trading. We also have recorded for you a 5-hour masterclass, which not only looks at the indicators in depth, but also tells you how to trade them pragmatically on different trading platforms, including MetaStock, and how to use it as part of your overall trading portfolio. And finally, I'm going to throw into the special offer another indicator, which is called Trend Radar. I didn't have time to cover it, but I'm just going to give you a quick preview in a second how this works. So all of this bundled up does have a retail price of $2,036, but today, as a thank you to everyone who's attending, we're going to offer this only for $997. And Bobby, I believe this also includes a trial version for a couple of months of MetaStock as well. So it's over 50% off. All you need to do is to go to www.metastock.com/PB360. PB stands for Power Bundle, so PB360, which will give you to the a page which will give you access to this special offer. Now, one quick note about this last indicator, Trend Radar. I didn't have time to cover it, but be sure it will be part of the live bootcamp on Tuesday. It is our latest innovation, and it's a heat map indicator which will be displayed below the chart. It looks as follows. Basically, it allows you to see at a glance what are the short-term, medium, and long-term trends for a particular symbol. So basically, the way to read it is if everything is green, like here, we're on a strong uptrend at all levels. So short-term, medium-term, and long-term, we're trending up. If it's all red, we're all trending down. but there's many different variations for it. For example, we're all green, then we went red a little bit, and we went green again. That's a pullback. Here we identified a pullback, and we're in a strong trend, at least at the long time frames here. And for you as a trader, you can take advantage of this because we're in a strong uptrend. We just had a pullback, which made price cheaper, which made buying the stock or symbol cheaper. This could be a great opportunity for you to enter into the trade, into this trend trade, because you don't want to enter when everything is at the highest price. You want to wait until things get a bit cheaper, when there's a pullback, and then enter into the trade. And this trend radar indicator allows you to do exactly this. And there are many more other gimmicks built into this indicator. For example, indication when all the MAs, which we use to calculate the trends, are stacked. And what that means, I will cover in the bootcamp on Tuesday. Now, if you want to take advantage of this, it is valid for the next 2 weeks. And again, as I said, for these 2 weeks for $9.97, typically at a retail value of $2,036. So if you want to take advantage, simply go to metastock.com/PB360. And I'm just going to go through a couple of questions here. Is there a recommended minimum efficiency that one could use? Yeah, I'm going to cover this as well in the bootcamp. So for 1-2-3 strike and for divergence cloud, the winners tend to be bigger than the losers. So you can get away with a success rate of only 50% and still have a successful trading system on your hand, because winners tend to be bigger than your losers. So there, the percentages don't need to be super high. If you have something around 60%, I think this is amazing. The odds are very much in your favor. We saw, I think, Tesla at 70 or 80, 90% today, which is incredible. So these are incredible statistics. For Volatility Crusher, it's a bit different. It is designed as a breakout indicator, almost like take a little bit off the market when a breakout happens, take advantage of the move up, because price will continue in the direction of the breakout for quite some time, but often not forever before the retracement happens. This is why, for this indicator, our targets are typically quite near and our stop loss is a bit wider, and winners tend to be a bit smaller than losers. So here you really want to have high statistics of at least 75% to follow the trade signal. But as you will see, you will have no problem finding signals with these percentages. Again, there's so many options to trade on all asset classes, and MetaStock, having such a powerful scanner, will find these trading opportunities for you. So yeah, this more or less concludes my part. Just one reminder. We, of course, we've been out there for quite some time, and we're always trying to work with our clients to help them become better traders through our indicators, for example, or through other ways to support them in the trading. And some of the feedback we've received by our clients, for example, Jamie said, I just want to let you know that the Volatility Crusher indicator that I purchased from you is one of the best indicators I have ever bought. I will be purchasing the 1-2-3 strike and divergence cloud very soon. Keep up the good work. So that's from Jamie. And another client of ours said, I'm such a fan of you and your indicators that I believe I'm a forever client. Your indicators are a must-have tool for anyone wishing to trade the market intelligently. And you know what? This is exactly why we designed these indicators, to help you in your trading, to help you make better trading decisions, and to focus on trading when the odds are stacked in your favor, and to stay away when this is not the case. Now, if you have questions of any sort, feel free to reach out to us. Visit us at tradingindicators.com. There's a big contact page there. We're happy to hear about your feedback, good or bad, any form of suggestions and improvements. We always have an open ear for that. In fact, the indicator you see right now went through many, many iterations. And most of these improvements were driven by client feedback. When a client told us, oh, I like this indicator, but what about this feature? Or what about adding this or this? And we listened and we built them in to make the indicator as good as it can be for you as a trader. And of course, if you have questions for the special offer, which you have just seen, you can get in touch with MetaStock at 1-800-882-3040, or simply contact MetaStock at the sales chat. So metastock.com/sales chat. And as a reminder, the offer is for the next all valid for the next 2 weeks at $9.97 for the entire bundle, including all these indicators, including the bootcamp, the masterclass, the trend radar indicator, which I didn't have time to cover, all the predefined scans, system tests, and optimizations. All right, so if there are no more questions, Bobby, I think I'm just going to hand it over to you.
All right. Yeah, it looks like someone asked if they already bought the software, they'll get access to the bootcamp, and I let them know that yes, anyone that's ordered with us already, we're going to go ahead and send out an email invite so that everyone can be invited to the bootcamp. And for those of you, kind of sitting on the edge of your seat or wondering, I highly recommend joining so that you can attend that class live, because we'll be open to answering all of your questions throughout the entire time. And Daniel, I was planning on taking over and kind of going through some of the ins and outs of MetaStock. However, you did such a good job of going through it all already. I don't think I really need to touch on it again. I think you hit it all fantastically, and I'm so thankful that we were able to have you on to showcase the system. So thanks again, Daniel.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. And if you have questions, please reach out to us. We'd be so happy to hear from you. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Okay, great. Bye, Daniel.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And we hope to see you next time. If you haven't yet liked the video or subscribed to our channel, that really helps us out a lot. So be sure to like and subscribe and tune in for all of our future events. Have a great evening. Bye.